And good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Most Important Conversations Daily Meditations. We host these meditations Monday through Friday. And before each meditation, we have a short talk. The content of these talks is derived from our main ontological program, Whole Life Architecture. This program is a live interactive workshop where participants are gathering each week, both to learn to step into their power as the creator of their own life, to create a life by design as opposed to merely tolerating a life by default, and to do so in community with others so that they can support each other and learn from each other and ensure that each other does move forward in the direction of the life that they're seeking to create for themselves. The overarching theme of our meditations is liberation, and we use these short talks to provide insights to the areas of your life where liberation helps to connect you closer and closer to your deepest and most essential nature as a creator. If you'd like more information about that, you can go to about Whole Life Architecture. You can go to TMICglobal.com. This morning, I'd like to speak briefly about something we deal with in Whole Life Architecture, which is called the nature of paradigms. A paradigm is a worldview. A paradigm is something that we are all trapped in our mind. It's a way of seeing the world. Precisely when you don't think you're in a paradigm is exactly when you're locked in the grips of one. It affects everything in your life, how you see, what you interpret, what you make things mean. It affects your belief systems. For example, we are in the Western paradigm, in the Western world. We are in the Western paradigm of reason, the Western paradigms of capitalism, the Western paradigms of democracy, the Western paradigms of logic. And everything that stems from these paradigms creates sub-paradigms. How we live, how we spend our day, what we spend our money on, what constitutes entertainment, what we would call culture, that's a paradigm. And so we're in many different worldviews. There are macro worldviews that kind of define many micro worldviews. And what these worldviews are paradigms, but they're not absolute truth. They're not absolute reality, because there are other paradigms, and people live just fine in those paradigms as well. What happens to us as human beings is we get trapped in our paradigms. We become trapped in what we're quote unquote right about. We think that the paradigm and paradigms that constitute our perceived reality are the perceived reality of everyone else. We egoically make that assumption. That sort of egocentrism that defines the human experience has us make the error that what we are experiencing in our life is what everyone else is experiencing, and the meaning that we have in our life is the meaning everyone else should have. And because our brains don't like uncertainty and insecurity and unpredictability, our brains are orientated to try to persuade and convince everyone else to join our paradigm, and their brains are designed the same way. It takes a higher order of reasoning, a higher order of thinking, a higher order of creative thinking to be able to allow someone else's paradigm to coexist with yours. To not feel compelled to have to make them like you or they make you like them. To not have to be in judgment of someone else's worldview and paradigm. assuming yours is somehow absolute, the truth, perfect. We have this going on in the world. You can see it on a macro level, the paradigms between Asia and the West, or more specifically, China and the United States. The worldviews of each of these paradigms see each other as enemies, or at best competitors. But this is just two paradigms not willing to be open to another. Or if they're willing, there are conditions on it. Often there are different motives, ulterior motives behind why they would offer certain things to each other. It's easy to see when we think about China and America, but we do the same thing at an individual level. We try to get people to be more like us, to do things more like us, to conform to our way of being. We do this in families. Think about your own family, perhaps. It's what's behind the saying, birds of a feather flock together. And if they don't, we force them to become like birds of a feather. We force them into our paradigm. Now, there's power in being able to know your paradigm, to see it clearly, to not be blind to it. Most people are totally blind to it. There's power if you can begin to see it. Everything that keeps you held in a paradigm is your conditioning. And when you can see your conditioning, you can start to drop it. It doesn't mean you won't have a paradigm. We'll always have a worldview. But we could approach our worldview, our paradigm, from a place of choice versus a place of forced conditioning. And in choosing it, we know it was a choice because we chose it, which means it's not absolute, which means we therefore don't need to feel compelled to change other people and force them into our paradigm. It means we don't have to stress, we don't have to be anxious, we don't have to go to war with one another. That's all wars are, is two sides fighting over their paradigm and trying to get the other side to conform to their way of thinking. It's quite stupid when you think about it. It's quite unconscious. But we all do that because our brain needs safety and security, and we fear the other paradigm, and anyone who represents it. We judge it, we critique it, we make it wrong, and all the while we make ours perfect and right in our sight. We do this in families, between members of families, between other families. We just do this as human beings. We're always in judgment of someone else's paradigm, believing that we are not in one and that we see reality clearly. And they think the same of us. In whole life architecture, this is what we refer to as perception is your reality. And perception is what has you create your paradigm. What is your paradigm this morning? I'd like you to consider and ask that. What are the worldviews that you have that you're in judgment of others if they don't share with you? What are the worldviews that you have that are keeping you trapped in one mode of thought? Where are you trapped in what you're right about? Where are you not able to live and let live with other people? And consider how being so righteous in your paradigm, it cuts off the possibility of your own growth, your own learning, your own rich experience of life. simply to satisfy the brain's need to be right, to know, to predict. Consider where in your life you have fallen into this trap of believing your paradigm to be the ultimate truth and reality. And by seeing this, what does it open for you? To know that the way you're living is simply a way of living. Your beliefs are just beliefs. They're not absolutely true or right. They just are. Does it give you permission to create and adopt other pieces to your paradigm, making it more your own, knowing that you don't have to be fixed in one way of thought, that you don't have to see others as threats to your way of living and being and thinking? What does it open up for you? How does seeing your paradigm for what it is liberate you? Maybe you don't see it yet, but even just the awareness that there are things called paradigms that we mistake and conflate for absolute reality, and then we judge others and hate others and go to war with others to try to convert them to our way of thinking. You may not see yours, we all have one, but just knowing it's there, what does that open for you? Does it make you curious? Does it make you want to reinvent your paradigm? Maybe knowing that the life you're experiencing and the views that you have aren't absolute is encouragement enough to have you consider what other paradigm you may create organically and originally for yourself. You aren't trapped unless you choose to be. I'd like to invite everyone this morning to just consider this. Consider the nature of paradigms. Consider the nature of the fact that you are in one all the time. And it thinks you and defines you if you are not thinking and defining it. I'd like to invite Mignon now to come join us this morning and guide us through our neural sculpting meditation.
Thank you so much, Chad. And welcome to today's neural sculpting meditation. You may hear me spell out words or dial things up or down, along with fun imagery, all by design as part of the neural sculpting meditation process. A process that helps calm the nervous system, prime the brain for creating supportive ideas, and gives you agency in how you move through life. Practicing this meditation can be supportive in reinforcing desired outcomes and creating lasting shifts. Let's get started. We get to go on a combo journey to release what does not align and to orient to what does. And in this meditation, we will settle the body and make this all real for your internal landscape. And we will start with a little permission to let your mind wander, to do what the mind does. And if you gently roll out your wrists or ankles, or stretch through any part of your body that feels good for you, you might find it easier to settle, letting your body slow down effortlessly, comfortably. And that settling might come as a deep breath in or a long, easy exhale. It might show up as a sigh, a softening in the shoulders, or the need for an extra cushion for support. And here it is, your body in this moment, nowhere else but right here. So, how much more could you get here? By inviting the bones and muscles to relax, to feel their way down, making contact with the surface beneath you. Right here, right now, you might notice if there's any lingering tension, maybe in the jaw or face. And with just your awareness, imagine smoothing it away. Your heart's beating, your organs are functioning, your breath is breathing. All things happening in this moment to support you in getting comfortable. And if you'd like to slow yourself down even more, you can lengthen your breath or deepen it or spread it out wider into the body or release it further. Breathing in and breathing out, allowing yourself to slow down. This is your natural rhythm, your innate capacity to settle. Inhale, deeper, slower. Exhale, slower, softer. Each breath easier and easier. And in this moment, you might notice things around you that are adding to your comfort. Maybe a pleasant scent or pleasing sounds, perhaps a nice texture against your skin. And while your body orients to right here, right now, your creative mind gets to wander, and you will still be right here, right now. It might be interesting for you to imagine if you were an amazing designer garment. Would you be a tailored jacket or pants or shirt? What fabric and color or patterns do you imagine? How does it feel to be worn? Or it might be more interesting to imagine if you were a ray of light traveling at the speed of light through space and time. How does it feel to be pure energy? How far and how long can you imagine going? Your creative mind is awakened and your body is right here supported. And you might take comfort knowing that you are in the driver's seat of this meditation. You are welcome to embrace, discard, or adapt any of my suggestions. You get to write the story. A story where you get to orient yourself to something wonderful, so amazing that you can also release what you are ready to let go of on this liberating journey. So, if you would like to start by bringing to mind a concept or word that feels good to you. This might be one you have already used in a meditation or something brand new. A word or idea, a mission. It could be a simple word like CLARITY, clarity, or humor, or a different word that in this moment serves you really well. What does your creative mind notice what this word could be if it could be anything? And this word might have some qualities to it. It might have a sound or tone. Maybe it sounds like an orchestra of crickets on a summer's night, or the sound of the ocean as the waves roll to the shore. Or maybe it's your favorite song, or something else. This word or concept might have a color, purple or blue, or the colors of a sunset. And maybe this already exists inside of your body. Or maybe you would like to take a little piece of this and drop it into your body to vibrate or settle or pulse. Maybe you would like it to warm up or cool down. Where does your mind put this vibration? Maybe it's in your hands or in your heart or in your eyes or your throat. Or somewhere else. Could there be a sensation that you might notice? Could this unfold in a way that you observe in this moment? And if each breath over the next 3 to 5 breaths amplifies this in your own body, you might even imagine it starts to displace a FEAR, a fear that you no longer need to hold. Maybe the filling up of this positive vibration allows some contraction or density or words to ooze right out of your space or melt and pour out of you like a liquid that pours out and goes right down a drain. Or better yet, you might release it by shedding it right off like an old skin. Or maybe you imagine the capacity to take your contractions and toss them out to sea to be taken by the tide. And just as you breathe in to breathe out, so too you can fill in with associations to exhale and release the ones that don't serve you. And all of this creative thought may cause sensation that is now associated with the fill in and the release, the in and the out. That sensation might be quiet or spacious or alive or warm or cool. What do you notice? And whatever your mind is telling you, or your body is telling you. This is a moment you can choose to remember, a state you can choose to remember. And you can remember it by placing your non-dominant hand on the part of your body most resonant. Or you may prefer instead to use a hand gesture. Or you may even imagine a scent that you can breathe in that would help you to remember this particular moment. And if you were to have an activation phrase, a mantra or affirmation, a single word that best represents this experience, what would it be like to write that in wet sand with your finger, or write it across the sky in bright colors? And you might remember that your body listens to your mind, just as your body has listened to your mind in this meditation. And how wonderful that you can invite this to be the backdrop of your inner landscape, just as your breath is the backdrop to all moments. And you are invited to explore your intentional concept or word, the colors, vibrations, and spaces created in your inner environment. Every time you place your hand or use your gesture or think of your scent or use your word, even as you slowly start to return your attention to your body in the space you are in, moving fingers and toes, gently opening your eyes and noticing the room around you as you end your fill in and release meditation. Thank you for joining us for today's meditation. It might be nice to journal about your experience, and I invite you to join us again for our daily meditations Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. Pacific. I'm Mignon Harris, a certified neural sculpting facilitator, and you can find more about neural sculpting and my offerings at my website, vitalform.life, or through the link at tmicglobal.com, where you can find all the most important conversations programming. Have a beautiful day and be well.